Ladies and gentlemen, a convoy of tanks has just gone by. So that must mean it's time for another video, because we're hitting bombs, nothing but bombs here, baby. How are you all today? How are you on this glorious, glorious day? The name is the Hungry Hornet, back for another video in regards to motorcycling, and today's video is about the following subjects. Oh shit, I can't remember what the fucking subject's supposed to be, bro. And today's subject is a good one. The secrets to a long riding career. Now obviously, well, here we are on the motorcycle once again. I've not had a long career in the sense that, you know, I've not been doing it too long. However, I've done a lot of miles, and I think I've unlocked the secret to riding a motorcycle long term. And that is perseverance. Yes, perseverance is key, and we're here to talk about the virtues of persevering and preserving yourself on a motorcycle. Now, a long career on a motorcycle isn't necessarily, you know, decades and decades and decades. Now, physically, motorcycling can be quite a tiring spectacle. It puts a lot of pressure on your joints, puts a lot of pressure on yourself. You know, you got to lug the bike around sometimes. It's not great, you know. So it's a young man's game in the sense that you're at heart. Depends how you're feeling. If you're feeling young, feeling vibrant, and you can, you know, withstand a battering on a bike, then, you know, riding around all year round on a motorcycle might be for you. But there is tactics to riding a motorcycle long term and how to get the most out of your riding career. It's pretty simple. As I said, perseverance is key. You got to persevere. You got to continue. You know, you got to battle through the hardship, the heartache, the backache, and the neck ache. Because, you know, riding a motorcycle, you know, long term, it's not about nipping down to the shops every day on it and that's it. It's about exploring what your limits are on the bike and what your limitations are on the motorcycle. That's the secret. If you can become one with your machine and you can, you know, understand what it takes to ride long distance, you know, for long periods of time, then you'll end up starting to pick up invaluable experience on the road that can help you navigate, you know, and make proper decisions, you know. So it'll get to the point where the only thing you need to worry about is other people, not yourself. Because a lot of people, a lot of motorcyclists, think they seem to focus too much on other people, whereas they don't really question themselves. At the end of the day, you know, we've all ridden bicycles when we were younger and we all fell off them, you know. There's this idea, or this, like, there's this sort of thought process where people don't really tend to understand that you can make a mistake on a bike. You can, and sometimes you will make a mistake on a bike, and it's your job as a motorcyclist to try and figure out how to, you know, prolong that career on a bike, how to get the most out of your biking career, how to get the most out of riding a bike without having to take tumbles, because obviously when you fall off, lessons are learned. But I'm trying to teach these lessons without us falling off. That's the idea. I'm trying to teach the virtues of riding a bike and how to keep it, you know, how to keep it upright all year round, you know, for decades to come, so you have a long prosperous career. Now, we've already talked about perseverance, and perseverance is literally just getting on the bike when you don't feel like it, when you'd rather take the car. It's just getting that experience in, getting that time in the saddle in, getting that time on zone, getting that time in the zone with your you know, nothing but your bike and yourself. And then before you know it, you actually want to go on it, even when you are tired. Now, I'm not saying when you're like sleepy, or what I'm saying is when you're like physically, you know, a little bit tired, because it takes a lot of you know, it exhausts you to ride a motorcycle full time. It's a, you know, I'm coming back from a trip now and I'm absolutely shattered on the bike, you know, and I can't wait to get in the bath. And I don't really want, you know, I had a text message from Billy telling me, oh, what are you doing today, mate? And I'm like, nothing, man. That's what. As soon as I get home, I'm curling up in the bath, mate. That's what I'm doing. and I'm having a few drinks and I'm chilling out on the sofa. I'm not saying I've earned that right, but what I'm saying is after, you know, 450, 500 miles in 24 hours, that's enough for anyone, isn't it? But doing miles like that regularly helps you sort of get to grips with motorcycling in the long term, and get to grips with you know, understanding that. I am of the firm belief that the reason motorcyclists tend to, you know, fall off during silly season, i.e. the summer, is because they're just too excited, you know. Now you got to get to the point where motorcycling to you is not exciting. That's when you can truly appreciate it. When it's not exciting, when you think, oh, you know, I'm on the bike. But hear me out. You get on the bike and you're like, oh, this is actually great, isn't it? This is awesome. That's the difference, yeah. Right, so you're not overly excited, you're not taking huge risks, you're not, you know, whamming around like a boy racer. Oh, sorry. Yeah. And you know, and that's key. So perseverance is one, you know, and expectations. We just talked about that. You know, tampering your expectations. You know, tamper them slightly, mate. You know, yes, biking's amazing, but there's a lot of downward moments in motorcycling. You know, the weather for one in Britain. You know, being a motorcyclist in Britain is hard work. You're battered by the wind constantly. You're aching. You're cold. You're shivering. You regret going out, but you persevere and you tamper those expectations, because that is truly what's important here, is making sure that your expectations aren't through the roof. Yes, understanding why you're doing it. Everyone's got a reason to ride a motorbike, yeah. You know, some people do it just to have fun, and if that is the case, then you're probably not watching this video. You know, you're probably thinking, oh, this guy's talking nonsense, and we want to watch more videos of people flying about on their motorbikes and doing wheelies in Tesco car parks. You know, that's fine. It's not, it's illegal, but that's fine if that's what you like. These videos are more based for people that have an affinity to motorcycling that goes a little bit beyond just riding it. You know, it becomes a bit of a passion. Now, not everyone, you know, not everyone's built to have a passion for motorcycling. I'm not saying that. It's, you know, a little bit, you know, not everyone. It's like people that like Pokemon. You know, not everyone likes it, do they? You know, people like wrestling. Not everyone likes wrestling. You know, people like football. Not everyone likes football. It's up to you how you want to live your life. And if motorcycling becomes a hobby that you enjoy, then that's probably why you're watching a video like this, then, isn't it? It's getting to understand your reasoning. Like, my reasoning started off purely based on commuting. It's turned into a passion. Now, let's say I won the lottery tomorrow. Well, I played the Euro Millions last night. I'm hoping when I get home there's good news. Let's say I won the lottery and I didn't need to commute anymore, you know? But I've still got my motorcycle. I'd still do things with it, then I'd probably do more of it, and I'd probably enjoy more. I'd probably buy another motorcycle as well, one that's slightly more comfortable than this one, because as much as I'm a big advocate for the Hornet, you know, it isn't the most comfortable bike in the world. All right, it isn't. I've got to do some upgrades to it, I really do. But yeah, so you got to persevere, you got to understand your motorcycle, and you got to tamper those expectations for a long career. But above all, you've got to respect the process. You know, don't go too far too quickly. You know, don't jump in too quick. Motorcycling is about respecting the laws of physics continuously. And you know, when we talk about a long career, what we're talking about is, you know, being able to enjoy your motorbike and knowing that you're 100% covered, in the sense that, you know, you've done your best. So that means looking after yourself, getting enough sleep, staying hydrated, stretching, taking enough rest breaks, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's very important to keeping you on the road, you know, in one piece. Another thing you can do is take some advanced riding courses. It's probably the best thing you could ever do. I did Bike Safe. I'm looking to do my IMA, or whatever it's called, to get, you know, a proper advanced riding course under my belt. And it does help, you know, it helps you understand what different organisations do to help make motorcyclists safer. And there should be a discussion about, you know, how to keep motorcyclists safe. And this is what this channel serves. The purpose of this channel is obviously to entertain as well. and we go off and jaunts together, and we talk about this and talk about that. But we also talk about road safety. We talk about the perils of motorcycling, and we talk about how to get better at it. And that is what I want this channel to be known for, is just helping others discuss. And talking of discussing, if you did like this video, please leave a comment below, please like and please subscribe, and please feel free to discuss amongst yourselves what you know, how long have you been riding? What are your secrets? I've discussed my secrets, and you know how I feel like it's about looking after yourself, tampering expectations, you know, persevering through bad times, and generally getting to know and understand why you're doing what you're doing. But there's other people's perspectives as well, you know. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Until the next time, I have been the hungriest of hornets. You've been incredible. Please continue to ride safe, and please continue to be awesome. Ta-ta.